Today, I'm going to show you how to perform a complete diabetic foot exam that catches any complications before they become an emergency in just 3 minutes. And the one thing most clinicians miss that turn a small problem into an amputation. So for example, you see a foot. The skin looks intact and the patient says it feels fine, but underneath, nerve damage is hiding the truth. What you do next could save a limb. And I know this because I've spent years treating diabetic wounds in clinics where patients show up too late. I'll never forget a man who came in with what he called a little blister. By the time I saw it, bone was exposed. He thought because it didn't hurt, it wasn't serious. That's the danger of neuropathy. And if you cannot observe these signs, huge emergencies and complications could take place. If you're a nurse, a student, or clinician who's ever felt unsure about what you're looking at when you examine a diabetic foot, you're not alone, which is why I'm about to break down how to check for sensation, circulation, skin integrity, structural changes, and infection risk all in under 3 minutes. And I'll show you the one sign most people overlook that tells you whether this foot is headed towards healing or disaster. When doing a diabetic foot exam, it isn't just looking at the toes. You have to check for 3 silent killers: neuropathy, ischemia, and infection. Neuropathy means the nerves are dying. The patient can't feel a pain. A rock in their shoe becomes an ulcer. A blister can become a crater. Ischemia means that blood isn't reaching the tissue. Without oxygen, wounds don't heal. Skin turns pale and cold and fragile. Infection means bacteria are moving faster than the body can fight back. And in a diabetic foot, infection doesn't announce itself with redness and heat. It can hide. It spreads to bone before you can even see swelling. What most people get wrong is that they think if the patient isn't complaining, the foot is fine. But in diabetic feet, silence is the warning sign. The most common mistake I see is assuming that because a patient is walking, their feet are okay. But here's what's happening underneath. Neuropathy has turned off the pain alarm, so they're walking on wounds they might not feel. Poor circulation means even small injuries aren't healing. They're expanding. High blood sugar is feeding bacteria and slowing the immune response. I've seen this happen more times than I can count. A patient comes in for a routine visit, no complaints. I ask to see their feet, and they hesitate and say they're fine. I insist, and then we take off the shoe. Then we see an ulcer the size of a quarter and deep enough to see tendon. And they had no idea. That's the danger. By the time they feel it, it's often too late. Before you touch the foot, you need to do 3 things. 1, ask the patient when they last looked at their own feet. If they can't remember, that's your first red flag. 2, ask if they noticed any changes. So color, temperature, swelling, odor, or drainage. Even if they say no, you should still check. 3, you should get their shoes and socks off, all the way off, not just peeking through a gap. You need full visibility. Here's your safety rule. If you see exposed bone, purulent drainage, or black tissue, you stop the exam and escalate immediately. That's not a wait and see situation. That's a same-day referral. Now, I know all of this info can feel overwhelming at once, especially if you're new to wound care or you're the only one in your clinic who's expected to know this stuff. That's exactly why I created the Wound Care Circle. It's a free community where clinicians like you can ask questions, share cases, and get support from people who actually understand what you're dealing with. If you want in, the link is in the description. I'd love to see you there. Let's get back to the rest of the video. Even without a Doppler or a monofilament, there are signs you can catch with your eyes and hands. So look for these. Shiny, tight skin that looks like it's been stretched over the bone is a sign of poor circulation. Hair loss on the lower leg or foot, that is a sign of hair follicles that need blood flow to survive. Thick yellow toenails are often a sign of fungal infection, which thrives in diabetic feet. Calluses in unusual spots, especially on the ball of the foot or tips of the toes, are signs of pressure from abnormal gait or bone deformity. And redness that doesn't blanch when you press it is not just a sign of irritation, that's inflammation or early infection. So if you see any of these, proceed with caution. This foot is already compromised. Here's something most people don't expect. A diabetic foot can have a wound and still have a strong pulse. People assume that if they can feel a pulse, circulation is fine, but that's not the whole story. You can have good blood flow to the ankle and terrible blood flow to the toes. The arteries branch, they narrow, and they calcify. A pulse at the dorsalis pedis doesn't mean that the capillaries in the skin are getting oxygen. So yes, check the pulse, but also check capillary refill. Press on the nail bed. It should turn white and then pink again in less than 3 seconds. If it takes longer, that tissue is starving. What surprises some providers is that if the patient has just neuropathy, they're still at risk because you need both sensation and circulation. If either one is missing, you're in dangerous territory. I once had a patient named Mr. D. He was 72 and had type 2 diabetes for 15 years. He came in for a blood pressure check, and I asked to see his feet. He laughed at first and said, "Doc, my feet are fine. I walk 3 miles a day," but I insisted. When I took off his sock, I found a deep ulcer on the bottom of his heel. It was the size of a penny, but it went all the way down to the bone. There was no odor, no drainage, no redness around the edges. He was shocked. He said, "I didn't feel a thing." We sent him for an x-ray, osteomyelitis, bone infection. He ended up in the hospital for 6 weeks on IV antibiotics. Kept his foot, but just barely. What that case taught me was this: you can't rely on just sensation to tell you when something's wrong. You should look every time, no exceptions. Here's how you perform the exam step by step in 3 minutes or less. Step 1 is to inspect. Look at both feet, top and bottom. Check between the toes and look for cuts, blisters, and calluses, discoloration, swelling, or deformities. Step 2 is to palpate. So feel the temperature of both feet and compare them. If one is warmer, that could be inflammation or infection. If one is colder, that's poor circulation. Check the pulses, so dorsalis pedis and the posterior tibial. If you can't feel them, note it and consider a Doppler. Step 3 is to test sensation, so use a monofilament, or if you don't have one, use the tip of a pen. Touch the bottom of the foot in 4 spots: the heel, the ball under the big toe, the ball under the little toe, and the tip of the big toe. Ask the patient each time, "Do you feel this?" If they can't feel it in 2 or more spots, they have significant neuropathy. Step 4 is to check structure. Look at the shape of the foot. Are the toes clawed? Is there a bunion? Is the arch collapsed? These changes create pressure points that lead to ulcers. And step 5 is to document everything. Write down what you saw, what you felt, and what the patient reported. If you're referring them, include your clinical rationale. So for example, patient has loss of protective sensation and a non-healing ulcer. Referral to podiatry indicated. Knowing all of this could be the difference between healing and amputation. When you catch a problem early, here's what changes. The patient gets referred before the wound gets infected. They get custom orthotics that redistribute pressure. They start checking their own feet every day because you taught them why it matters. They avoid the hospital. They avoid surgery. They keep their independence. And you get to be the clinician who saw what others missed. That's the power of a 3-minute exam done right. The whole point of a diabetic foot exam is to prevent any disasters that could happen. So before you see your next diabetic patient, I want you to watch for 3 things. Skin that's shiny, tight, or hairless. That's your circulation clue. Calluses in weight-bearing areas. That's your pressure clue. And loss of sensation with a monofilament. That's your neuropathy clue. These 3 signs tell you what's happening, what's working, and what needs to change. But here's the thing. Noticing them isn't enough. The real challenge is knowing what to do once you see them. And that's exactly what I cover in my next video, where I walk you through the decision-making process framework I use every time I assess a high-risk diabetic foot, so you know exactly when to monitor, when to refer, and when to escalate. Stay informed and heal well.